It's the asshole of today.
Laura Strietmann.
I don't know who this is.
The leader in the Cincinnati Right to Life movement. That would probably explain why you don't know.
I do know who this is. I've seen this clip.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's very disturbing what you're about to hear. Very disgusting. And these are the kinds of people that want to be dictating other people's health care.
Yeah.
And they want to vote in and support the most radical candidates to put into place their vision of how 10-year-olds should respond to rape.
She cried and begged for a little sister or a baby. And while a pregnancy might have been difficult on a 10-year-old body, a woman's body is designed to carry life. That is a biological fact. It is not designed to have disgusting death instruments remove her preborn child from her womb. Both situations would be difficult, but we know for a fact that every single time life wins. And that, again, is a statistical fact. It's a terrible, tragic situation, and we must do better to protect children from that kind of a difficult situation that allows such heinous, horrible abuse. And I'm sorry the abortionist did not report the rape, and I'm sorry that the mother permitted this.
Okay, so in an effort to have things that are accurate on this record in this very distinguished body in these halls where laws are made, that is simply untrue. It was reported. So let us not continue to spread disinformation time and time again about certain families' personal issues that they have dealt with in terms of a 10-year-old rape victim being raped and child sexual abuse. I take extreme offense to that on behalf of the family and the poor 10-year-old who is subjected in that way to being raped at such a young, tender age.
So this is, of course, the discussion about the 10-year-old that made national headlines shortly after Roe v. Wade was overturned by the Supreme Court. And in
Ohio, and had to flee to Indiana to get an abortion.
And there was an attempt on the part of Republicans to say that this wasn't true,
right,
that this was false, that this was a lie, that this didn't happen, that a 10-year-old rape victim did not have to travel out of state in order to obtain an abortion.
They tried to say it was a made-up story.
And now you can see how the goalposts have moved for the right.
Yeah.
It is no longer a lie or a made-up story. No, she's talking about a 10-year-old as though a 10-year-old is a woman who should have a baby after being raped.
It's exactly what she said.
She used the word woman.
She said, while a 10-year-old might not really want to carry blah, 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 a woman's body is designed for childbirth. Well, a 10-year-old is not a woman.
No. And I mean, imagine being a person who is like standing before a 10-year-old and telling them how they should respond to a rape. I mean, imagine feeling like, imagine having the audacity to get up and make comments about what a 10-year-old should have done.
Yeah.
Because you know what? I wouldn't stand here and say if the 10-year-old had the baby, I wouldn't be standing here saying, wow, that 10-year-old really shouldn't have had that baby. That's what a terrible thing that 10-year-old did. Guess what? I am only sympathetic and horrified and disgusted by the rape. I want the 10-year-old to be as healthy and whole as possible. Whatever it takes to get there is what I would be interested in. I have an opinion about what I would want for my 10-year-old kid or what I would want for myself, but I just can't imagine having the audacity to get up and force your own worldview on a child.
To take choices away.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, this woman is someone who, if you were able to administer the morning after pill to the 10-year-old, she would also want that illegal.
Right.
No, very likely opposed to contraception, to any form of reproductive health care at all. So, I mean, the other thing that she said was every single time life wins, I guess, except for 20% of pregnancies, 1 in 5 that don't bear out a child. Mm-hmm. 1 in 5 ends in miscarry. 20%. And but according to her, every single time life wins.
Yeah.
It is not the facts. It is propaganda. It is a life and life's mission built on imposing your religious worldview on the rest of the world, whether or not they share your faith tradition.
Well, and again, the hypocrisy here is endless too, because these are the same people who are trying to take away gender-affirming care for minors as well as adults.
Yeah.
So,
well, it starts with the minors, and look, we're just trying to protect the kids. And then, as we're seeing in Florida, it very quickly morphs into everybody else.
Right. So a 10-year-old is mature enough to have her body talked about as though she's a woman.
Right.
And she can have a baby. She should have a baby at 10 years old, but shouldn't be able to make any kind of decisions about gender-affirming care.
Right.
It
make sense.
Is this woman listening to herself?
Yeah. It's gross. Anyway, we'd love to know what you think about these important topics. 657-464-7609. Of course, you can email a voice memo, as many do, from your smartphone to idoubt@dollemore.com.